Hello, Federico. Welcome
Good
back.
morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning. I know you are pretty busy making Evernote better. You and your team, you reminded me of that the last time. So thank you so much for being with us again.
Thank you again.
I have so many questions about AI, but there's this video. I don't know if you've seen this. I can send you in a future. I like to call him the inventor of Evernote because he coded it, Stepan. And the video, he talks about memories and that we have to save our memories. And he has this quote.
I more and more see Evernote is a backup of your memory. This is my advice to everybody and to you and to young people. Start as soon as possible. Start now.
Of course, he's talking about keeping memories. And keeping memories is one thing, finding them is another thing. Evernote is pretty good on search, but I love the AI approach you guys are taking, helping us search and find information. Why do you decide to work on our notes instead of creating those fancy things that the AIs are creating out there?
It's a variety of reasons. Well, I really, really like the concept of making Evernote like an extension of your brain. So kind of
Hmm.
what a quote you mentioned was talking about to some extent. The fact is that we are living in this moment, in this inflection point between like pre-AI and AI augmented software.
Hmm.
And to some extent we already understood, not we bending spoons, but like in general as a society we already understood that both human intelligence and traditional software are extremely powerful at doing what they were built for. So like human intelligence for being creative, recognizing patterns, also with like sometimes very little information, and traditional software is very good at remembering, like saving,
Okay.
and processing and transmitting information and stuff like that. And so by bringing these two kinds of intelligence closer to each other, we can just make one more step, let's say, in the direction of transforming Evernote into an actual extension of your brain. And so, like, this was one of the reasons, and the other is that we have amazing AI talent and experience in bending spoons. And for both this and the other reason, we it only seemed natural to introduce some
Uh-huh.
new AI features in Evernote. Like, for instance, let's take AI search, which is probably the one you were referring to, and the one I mentioned in the blog post. That is a feature that I see as a backup for memories, just as you mentioned. So, like, um, for those who don't know, it's a feature that it allows us to ask Evernote questions directly in natural language, like in English for those who speak English, as you would to a human. And Evernote will just reply in that language instead of like giving you some sort of UI thing that you then need to navigate and find your notes. Like will just give you the relevant answers, like something, I don't know, like can I expense my phone? No, it would just tell you yes, you can. Here's the relevant note,
I'm so
and you can
excited
go
for
read
that.
more. Uh, so, like, to some extent, Evernote already is a backup of your memories. Like, you just need to use it correctly, right? As Stepan was saying, you
Uh-huh.
just need to write notes, put there your memories, pictures, documents, and stuff. Um, but a human memory is not precise.
Mhm.
So, if I write something about a car in my notes, um, maybe I might never use the word car. Maybe I use the word automobile, or
Oh.
maybe I don't even talk about that specific word. So the keyword search, the classic search would not work. Um, Maybe if I use semantic search, which is what other systems are doing, like it might work and maybe it would find it. But with conversational search, so a kind of search that understands what you're talking about and just shows you the relevant answers. We could just have AI give the direct answer, as I said, like instead of an old school search engine suggesting just like here's a list of notes that will likely contain the answer you're looking for. It would just tell you yes or no, or
Mhm.
here's the information you're looking for. So to me, it's not just about building a backup of your memories. It's also about making it easy to retrieve them when you need it. And one example that I could give is like how Google Photo, for instance, does it, which I really like. It's not the same, but it's also about the same concept of not only storing your memories, but also like making it easier to retrieve them and helping you surface them. So Google Photos doesn't just allow you to back up your pictures like an old school cloud backup software would do, but it also creates these memories for you. And I have it on my homepage on my iPhone all the time, the Google Photo widget, and it just shows me like 1 year ago you were doing this,
Yes,
or
I
these
love
are
that
the
too.
moments with your partner or stuff like that. So that's really nice, and I hope we can build something similar for everyone. Not just like a way
I
to
see.
surface your notes randomly, but like an easy way to retrieve just what you were looking for.
You are making me more excited about this feature. Stop talking.
It's gonna take a while though.
Okay, well, but there we have to address a little elephant in this room here, because if we are talking about retrieving information using AI, by nature we have to give access to those notes, and one of the fundamentals of Evernote is privacy. I, I read your blog post. I think a lot of people read that, but I would like you to talk a little bit about this topic. How you guys are planning to approach this to to conflicting forces here.
It's a good point. This is something very important that I think we need to really nail, and I think that um, in general, products will have to nail this and to do this very well, because otherwise they risk destroying the trust that people have towards their products. And so, what I wrote in the blog post is that we are approaching AI and privacy in AI features with the principles of privacy by design and by default. So
Uh-huh.
maybe it's worth trying to explain what I meant by that. By default, let's start with that. So
Okay.
to me, that means that by default we don't send anything to any AI model until the user explicitly tells us that they want to.
Okay.
And by
Okay.
explicitly, of course, I don't mean it to be like a letter that is very like long to write and stuff, but like we need to make it very clear to people that what they're doing is like something that A, uses AI, so we use AI in the name, and B,
Oh,
that we just tell them, like after they click the button, we just tell them, look, you're about to use AI to do this.
okay.
Do you agree? And of course, like it's an extra step. So to some, it might be frustrating. So maybe we also allow them to like don't see this anymore, especially the first time they need to see it, and
Okay.
then we just keep it on by default unless they tell us to hide
Okay.
it in the future. And this is exactly what we're doing with AI Note Cleanup, the other AI feature. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that as an example because we haven't built AI search yet, so I cannot explain how that works right now. But it's exactly as I told you. So it's rolling. That feature is rolling out as we speak, and
Mm-hmm.
customers, if they want to use that, they just need to confirm that they want to use that feature. And in the pop-up that appears when they click the button, you also have information about who the data is being sent to,
Okay.
which in this case is OpenAI, and all the information that they need about how the model works.
So, in a way, you were telling me that every AI feature will have some sort of opt-in. I have to say, yes, I want this to be seen by an AI, or say yes from now on. Okay, I don't want to see this pop up anymore. Just yes, I'm okay with that. But I like that you are naming all the features AI. I didn't think about that when I saw it, but now I understand. So every time we are clicking on something that has AI in its name, it means that it's going somewhere, and we have to allow that. That's a very clever way of explaining
That's
things.
for now. Maybe in the future we won't need to, but for now it is like this,
Okay.
and we will find some ways to make it so that it's not that nothing is sent to anybody
Oh,
unless you want to.
okay.
Maybe it's not through an explicit like pop up every time, because maybe it's something more ingrained in how the product works. But maybe so that the first time we introduce it, we just tell people like, there is this feature, do you want to enable it or not? And by
Okay.
default it's not. So, or like, so I'm talking about possibilities here. We
Of
haven't
course.
built anything with this approach yet, but like, we will find some ways to make sure that people are in control of their data. And because like, there are some people who um, would not like to use AI because they don't
Hmm.
want their data to be sent to anybody. And
Hmm.
so that's understandable. That's not wrong. At the same time, there are people who just don't care about the pop-up. Don't show me the
Don't
pop-up.
want
Just,
to be seeing the pop-up all the time.
I know you're sending it to AI. It's
Yeah.
fine. Just give me what I need, and that's it. And we don't want um, to optimize for any of these two
Okay.
kinds of users, because I think both points of view are very
Hmm.
valuable. Those
Hmm.
who don't want to waste time, and those who want to be very in control of their data.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And then there is the by design um, part. Um, that means that we don't send any more information than what is necessary.
Okay.
So for instance, again, in AI node cleanup, we just send the text. We don't send the images. We don't send the
Oh.
attachments.
Oh. Okay.
And so we just send what you needed. We don't send other nodes. We just send the node you're working on. And plus, we also make sure that the providers that we partner with legally specify that they don't save and they don't
Okay.
train any model on any piece of content that comes from our users. And so this means this is what I mean by design.
Okay.
So these two things should be um, enough to tranquilize people and to let them know that we are trying to build something cool, something that works, and that it is useful, and we don't like add too much friction, and we don't make it hard to use, but at the same time we are careful about what we're
Okay.
building and who we send their data to.
And since we're talking about the node cleanup, I I tested it. It's pretty cool. I am one of those people that luckily got access, early access. It's pretty cool. I've been trying a lot of things here, and but I have to be honest here. I would never think about using AI for something like this. This was really interesting, a great idea that I would never think about. So, like I asked you before, who had this idea?
I'm not sure I remember, to be honest. I
Uh-huh.
So what happened is, um, so AI models right now offer all sorts of like default ways, or like for instance, if you go and see what GPT can do, the OpenAI just gives you a list of things that you can do with it.
Uh-huh.
And so what you see in most products that are starting to integrate those APIs is just that they take those features and like generative text,
Oh,
for
I
instance.
see.
No, so what we did was brainstorm with a team and think, what is something some let's start not with a solution but with a problem, right? So okay, there is this technology that does this, but what is an actual problem that we could solve? And one thing that came up more than once, and that I also saw mentioned by some users, is um, when I take notes, they're always messy, and I need to spend some time making them tidier, more like checking the grammar and I don't know, capitalization,
Uh-huh.
punctuation, typos, lists, and stuff like that. Um, and so that looked like a great idea because it's not something that everybody uses all the time, but for some people, those who are in a lot of meetings or that listen to audio and they want to summarize it very
Oh,
fast, then their notes are always messy because they are trying to write quickly
yeah.
um, to stay on par with what they're listening to.
Uh-huh.
And so that it was only natural that we decided to prioritize the annual cleanup, because it was something a very good like little quality of life improvement that could help a lot of people. Um, so yeah.
I'm my own AI. I was my own AI until now because I was always I created this habit of always organizing my notes right after the meeting. I always do this. It was hard for me to find a note to test the AI the cleanup because I didn't have anyone. That was I don't make them beautiful, but I organize them and remove the typos. And I noticed when I started testing the note cleanup that I I make some typos, but my major mistake is connecting words that should have a space in between them. I'm typing so fast that I don't hit the space bar, and it clean it up everything. Also, articles in English, a and an, and things like that that you're typing fast. Sometimes I forget words, a letter, and it's oh my god, it's doing a fantastic job
Yeah,
here. I
yeah.
it's one
For
less
me, it's
thing I'll have to do.
punctuation. I always, like, when I'm writing in a hurry, I just skip all the commas, skip all the
Yeah.
points, dots. I'll just write, and then it's always a mess to tie it up. And what I think is important to understand about this feature is that um, I see that it doesn't relate to everybody. Like, I don't expect everybody to use it
Okay.
because, as you said, there are some people who want to be 100% in control of what they're writing. They don't want anybody to mess with their notes. They want to take the time to do the work to make sure that their notes are perfect. Um, but at the same time, there are people who never take the time because they don't have time. And
Mhm.
so this is just an extra help to those. Or there are people who do and are perfectly fine in having somebody else, like an AI model, do it, and then just checking very quickly if everything looks good. And so I see the AI not cleanup. So because one of the things that I see often is people complaining about, like, I don't need this. Why are you wasting your time on this? And my message is that um, this should be seen as another tool in your toolbar, right?
Yes.
So maybe there are people who never use titles, for instance, and we know, like, some people just don't use
Mhm.
titles at all, but some use them in all of their notes, or like
Mhm.
80% of their notes. And so you see, like, it's just about giving more tools and more powerful tools, and tools that can relate to the biggest share of users possible. That's why we
I
decided to
guess
build
we
this.
always go back to the perfect Evernote for everyone.
Exactly.
Everyone has a perfect Evernote.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I wasn't seeing myself using this feature a lot, but now that I'm trying it, and I think, "Oh my god, I'm not gonna waste all that time organizing my note after the meeting." I think I'll be, using it all the time after all my meetings. I'll keep trying, but so far, I'm in love with it. It's pretty good.
Nice. And it's in beta right now. So
Yes.
it's we're rolling it out to a few users. I think today or yesterday we already did that. I'm not sure. Um, so we are rolling it out as we speak, and you can expect it to make some mistakes every once in a while. Anybody who used ChatGPT or other AI models know that they do produce hallucinations sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's important that you just go and check what it did. But it also saves a snapshot of your notes. So
Okay, that's what I
and you can
was
undo,
going to
of
ask.
course.
You can go back and to the older version of the
Exactly.
note. That's great. That's great. Okay. Okay. And talking about AI, we are of course only talking about AI here. When I first heard about the acquisition, I sat down with Stacy. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that video. And one thing that I said it, she said it too, that you guys were very focused, very AI oriented, and I thought something's gonna come up. Some AI thing's gonna come up here. But my question is, will AI, I understand that you guys are still working on the synchronization and improving the client. That's great. But my question is, what is the direction here? New features or mostly AI? I just want to understand what is the weight or AI on Evernote from now on.
So in terms of a specific roadmap, we don't have a defined thing. Like, we don't have like a 2-year plan because
Okay.
we don't know enough about Evernote right now to say, like, okay, now we know perfectly what we need to build, and we don't want to be arrogant. And we're trying to talk to as many people as we can and understand their problems and their use cases and how we can make their lives easier. One thing that is already clear is that people want Evernote to be more stable, more reliable,
Okay.
faster, lighter, and stuff. And so we are focusing the majority of our firepower on that, as we said last time, and as you're saying now. Regarding AI, AI was not like the sole reason why we decided to acquire Evernote. That's
Okay.
important to understand. Like
Okay.
we want to improve Evernote in ways that are much more foundational than just AI, because at the end of the day, the reason why we acquired Evernote, it was all about how Evernote users love using it and how useful they see it as a tool, and how and also how much we thought we could improve it. So if they are loving it so much now, think about how much they love it after we spend like a couple years
Working on
improving
it.
it and adding useful features to it, and improving the speed and reliability. Um, Now, AI is one important part of these additions. It's not just like, okay, we'll acquire Evernote and add AI and we'll call it a day. It's
Okay.
like we have a complex plan on many things, and AI is an important piece of this plan. And so for now, as we said, we're focusing on those things like AI no cleanup and AI search as new features, and the majority of our firepower is on speed and reliability. Um, so for now, that's what we're thinking about. But we have a list of, I think, more than 50 AI ideas.
Wow.
Some, to be honest, are not useful at all, and they're just like brainstorming noise. But some are pretty powerful. Some I don't even think we could build them even if we want them, because they are so like future looking. But yeah, and so we will try to understand what kind of things people need
Okay.
and want, and what their problems are, and try to solve those. If we need to use AI, we will. If we don't, we won't.
Okay.
And yeah,
So AI is not the only thing you have in your mind. You're as a company, there are other
exactly.
things that will be
What I want to make sure of is that we don't use AI just because it's trendy now.
okay.
We want to be very intentional about how we use it. And again, mm, there are ways in which we could just say, okay, like I'll plug a generative model to Evernote, and you can just do that. But we also want to understand again what kind of issues people have, and what kind of jobs they need to get done, and to solve those.
Okay, I'll add 3 crazy ideas to your list.
Okay, all right, let's go.
And let me know if they are feasible, if they are crazy ideas.
All right.
Okay, I'll start with context. In the past, we had this feature called context. It would show related notes to the note that we were working on. And I see that kind of similar to this AI search in a way, because if I'm working on a node, I want to have other nodes that help. So this is one idea I have, like maybe a button that I can click, show me nodes that can help me with this node. Is this a feasible idea? Is this something possible? The
Well, it is
technology?
feasible for sure. Like, I mean, it was there in the past, so for sure it is feasible. Um, One of the reasons I didn't look into this specifically, but I know that the team removed some features, and I think that always, or almost always, the reason why they removed some features is because they weren't used much, and so that might be the reason why it was removed.
Removed.
But yeah, in order, like, if we are talking about feasibility, for sure we could build this.
Yeah, I use this filter a lot because sometimes I would be working on a node again. I forgot that I already had something like that, and it would show me down there. Oh, it wouldn't say that, but it would show the node that, oh, I have already started working on this. So I would click there, and I had so many use for that. But today, because of the way you guys talked about the AI search, I see it as much more powerful. Maybe, I don't know, a pop-up showing all the nodes or connected. No, I don't know. I think it would be a great way to help us.
I
Oh,
can see why it would be useful. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just
uh-huh.
saying that probably the reason why the team removed it is just that people weren't
Yeah, I
finding
see.
that much value from it.
Yeah, and AI was not as powerful as it is today. Back
Also,
then, it
yeah.
was really hard to. I talked to Phil Libin in the past, and he told me it was really hard to for Evernote to understand when it was taking a picture of a note that it was tilted a little bit. The handwriting, it was so hard to do back then, and they did it. But imagine the amount of resources they needed to do that. So today, this is something so easy, but back then it was pretty crazy to
Yeah.
do. Another idea on that, on the same direction,
All
it's
right.
the tasks idea, because when we write a task, I personally don't really like tasks. I like the way tasks were implemented in Evernote, but I don't really like the idea of tasks. I use it for very specific, in very specific situations, because they don't have context. Of course, in Evernote they have the note context. That's why I love it. But in a list, they don't have context. So one thing I thought was maybe another AI button there on the corner that I could click, and okay, you have all these notes that have relation to this task you have to accomplish. So I think that's
How would this work? Like, so I'm writing a task. I click this
AI.
AI create context
Yeah,
button, and it shows me a list of notes that might have something to do with the
the
title of the
task. Yeah,
task,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Today, what I do, and what I try to teach my students, my people that watch my videos is first the main thing is the note. Take notes. And inside the note, you have the tasks. So the tasks are helping you accomplish the notes you took. But sometimes there are more than one note. You have other information spread all around. For example, I just published a video talking about how I prepared for this interview here. I had my notes, I had notes shared with you guys. I have like 3 or 4 notes, and they are all
Hmm.
related, and I have to connect them all together. And I don't know, maybe I would say I would write the script, something like that.
Hmm.
And maybe Evernote, that the AI would find other notes I have your name on, maybe other notes I have something related to interviews. I don't know, some things like that that could, okay, you have already talked to this person, and I see, and this is very easy because I'm not gonna have thousands of interviews with you. My mind can find my brain can find the but in a context of a client, for example, if I'm working with a client for like month or years, maybe that client have already explained me something that would help on that task. So I don't know how in the design, speaking in terms of design, I don't know how that would work. I'm really bad on that. But I see very useful to click something. If a client asks me something, I can click there and it would show me all the notes related to that task.
So I'm thinking about this is actually probably very similar to the first one in
Yes, it
terms
is.
that
It is.
the problem
It
that you're
is.
trying to solve is
Yes.
show me relevant notes for
Yes.
this. And
Yes.
this might be a task, this might be another note. So maybe more than like a task specific thing that shows you, okay, you have this task, here's a list of
Uh-huh.
related notes. Maybe one thing that could work is just a generic approach where you just right click
Show me the
something,
notes.
and that something might be a note in the list, or a task inside
Mhm.
the note, or a
Mhm.
task inside your
Yeah.
list, and just show me related notes to this, and
Yeah.
maybe and we can run some sort of yeah. I think that this could be a problem worth solving.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I see, because I like what you said there. It doesn't have to be specific about a task or something, but what I see is we have all this content, all this information, and as a human, we will have a hard time finding everything. I have more than 14,000 notes. It's impossible for me to remember everything, but I'm sure if I'm with a client for month or years, that at some point that topic came up. So, and like you said before, some maybe I didn't write car, I wrote automobile, or maybe I didn't write anything at all about the so I can see it helping on that to accomplish, to do things. But you're right, maybe it's just related notes. I don't know, something that helped me with that note.
To some extent, it's also the problem of resurfacing that we were talking about. Like, it's about I don't know if it's the same for you, but in my experience, my brain kind of knows already that I have a note
Yes,
regarding that.
yes,
What I
yes.
might have forgotten about is the specific keyword that I used in the title, or like
Hmm.
what or words I used. But if I wrote a document on X or a note on Y, I often remember about it, and
Yes, you're
so
right.
I might just open AI search and ask it,
Yes.
"Hey, do I have a note on this task
Uh-huh.
that I want to
Yeah,
complete?"
yeah, you're right. You're right there because if we are taking actual notes, not just transcribing, we are paying attention to it, and we'll end up remembering that in the future. Not all of them, but most of them, I think.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking in more of proactive help, not that I
Yes, I
have
see what
to
you're saying.
go there. Evernote, okay, okay, I have this. Maybe this will help. Kind of showing me some bits of information that can help me with that. I think because context was super proactive.
Hmm.
I didn't have to do anything. I would just start typing it. It would show things there on below that note.
It's a good point. So
Yeah.
sometimes what you're saying is that sometimes you don't even realize yourself that you need to look for something, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
You just want somebody to show you relevant content
Yes.
for you, because maybe you don't even um, take the intentional
Yeah, maybe
decision of, okay, I'm looking
you're
for something.
forgetting about that at that moment. Maybe in the future you remember something, but at that moment, and that can change everything. Maybe I'm here with you on a meeting, and then suddenly I see a note of something that I can say, "Oh, remember this?" So maybe that can change. I don't know. I think a more proactive action from AI would be also great. Of course, that raises all sorts of privacy concerns.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking right now.
So
I'm
we had to
thinking,
have a setting on Evernote. Okay, I want to use this, and a big pop-up showing.
yeah, be careful. All of your notes
All your
are
notes
gonna be used to
are
do
being, yeah, something like that. So the last idea, I think it's a simple one, and I have already tried this, and it's kind of working. I would like to see something like language to or Grammarly helping me more again proactively showing me little bits of information, especially because I'm not a English native speaker, and I'm constantly writing and speaking in English. And I have already tried comparing it to the one of these tools, and it works pretty well. Not only correcting my spelling, but changing the grammar. It's pretty cool, but I have to click the AI thing, and it has to work on the entire note. It's not there like a little angel telling me, "Be careful." So this is another idea, something not as powerful as these tools, but just helping people to write better. Is that something that is possible?
it is possible. Well, of course it is. Somebody built it, so it is technically possible. Um, one thing um, that we cannot do, for the reasons that we were talking about before, is that we will not um, send your details, your notes to an
Okay.
AI model
Mhm.
before we have your consent.
Okay.
So um, one of the reasons why we didn't think about doing this, well, firstly, it's much more complicated in terms of UI,
Okay.
rather than just having a button that you click and then your content gets replaced. So I don't want to hide the reality, but one other reason why we didn't do it is the fact that we wanted to be very mindful of making sure that people knew that they are sending their note to an AI model. And
Mhm.
in order to just um, again, like proactively, as we were saying in the other example, show you some
That I
suggestions,
would have to
we
be
would need
there all the time. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I see the problems there. I see the yeah, but yeah, I love what you guys are doing. The privacy is the most important thing. Yeah, but maybe I don't know. Maybe you have a big team there. Maybe they'll come up with some idea that will make all both things coexist, work fine together.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking maybe there is a way to like a middle ground, like
Yeah, yeah.
maybe if we have some way to detect that the note might have some typos or some like
Uh-huh.
it's messy somehow without using AI. Maybe we can do it locally.
Yeah.
Maybe we might just suggest you to like try to clean up this note.
Mhm,
We
mhm.
think it's going to be worth it because
Oh,
of
yeah,
course
that's a good
AI note
idea.
cleanup doesn't work well for every note because
Mhm.
maybe somebody, as we were saying, already tied it up, or maybe somebody writes in perfect capitalization, punctuation, grammar, etc. And so if you click it, it'll do nothing because the note is already good. But maybe we can find some smart way to just prompt people and
Mhm.
tell them, look, I really think this might be helpful for your note if you want to click it.
Yeah. Well, you now have more 3 crazy ideas there to add to your to your
To my
AI.
list.
But I love this conversation. Was great. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Vlad, very much. Talk soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.